Hey everyone, Kristen here. As you know, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't need to be complicated. And today I'm going to share with you a recipe that has quickly become a family favorite here, and it's one that you guys requested that I make. It's Instant Pot pasta with sausage. We're going to make a delicious, rich pasta filled with Italian sausage and tomatoes and cheese and spinach and so good, so easy. So let's get cooking. The first thing we're gonna do is hit saute on our Instant Pot, and we're gonna add in just a little bit of oil and let that heat. 1 pound of bulk Italian sausage. Now I used my recipe for homemade Italian sausage, and I'll link to that before. It's super, super flavorful, and it looks a little bit maybe different than what you're used to seeing there. And that's because I used ground chicken. You can use ground turkey, you could use ground pork, you could use beef even if you wanted, and then it's super seasoned. Or just buy a pound of Italian sausage if that's what you like. You could even slice up some pre-cooked Italian sausage, like the chicken sausage al fresco, or I'm trying to think of other brands. There's a lot of good brands out there, whatever you like. I'm also adding in 1 small onion that's been finely minced. Just give it a stir every little bit so that each bit of your sausage gets nice and browned. If at this point your sausage has rendered off a lot of grease, you can go ahead and discard that grease. Mine, because I'm using lean sausage, looks good here. But I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. You can omit those red pepper flakes if you're sensitive to spice. We're just gonna toast that up just for about 30 seconds. Already smells so, so good. And because we're starting this with Italian sausage, there's so much flavor already. If you weren't, I would bump up your seasonings. I would add in Italian seasoning. I would add in some extra garlic powder, onion powder, but we're good here. Starting with Italian sausage is a secret to get quick flavor on the table. All right, that looks good. I'm adding in 1/2 cup of dry white wine. And we're gonna let that cook while we scrape up any brown bits on the bottom of the inner pot to prevent a burn notice, and those brown bits add flavor. I'm using white wine today. You can use 1/2 cup of chicken broth if you don't cook with wine. I have a Chardonnay. Pinot Grigio will work as well. Something dry, something good quality that you want to drink with dinner. I feel that white wine pairs really, really well with the Italian sausage and the diced tomatoes that we're gonna add instead of a dry red wine. If you only had dry red wine on hand, use that. By all means, it'll be delicious. That looks good, so we're gonna hit cancel to turn off the saute function on our Instant Pot. And then I'm gonna add in 3 cups of low sodium chicken stock there. You can use homemade, you can use store-bought, and make sure you use low sodium because Italian sausage does inherently have some salt. Speaking of salt though, I am gonna add a pinch of kosher salt and black pepper there. And then I have 1 pound of rigatoni noodles. You can use rigatoni, medium shells, penne, or bow tie noodles, and that'll have the same cooking time here as our rigatoni. I love rigatoni noodles. It just grabs all the sausage and sauce and then I have 2 cans of diced tomatoes, Italian style, with the basil, the garlic, and the oregano. Lots of flavor there. And juice and all, that extra juice is gonna help cook the pasta. We're not gonna stir our tomatoes in. I'm just spreading them over the top of the pasta to cover. That's it. We're gonna pop our lid on our Instant Pot. Make sure your venting knob is pointed towards sealed or your lid is locked. Now when it comes to cooking pasta in your Instant Pot, you need to be precise. For rigatoni noodles, they typically cook about 12 minutes on the stovetop. So I cut that time in half and I cook for 6 minutes on high pressure with exactly 5 minutes of natural pressure release, and you'll have perfect results every time. Once the cooking time has elapsed and pressure's released for exactly 5 minutes, you want to do a quick release of any remaining pressure. To do so, stand back, knock your venting knob from sealed to the venting position. It'll take a minute there for the pressure to fully be released. Then you can open up your Instant Pot. Smells really, really good. We're just gonna stir this up just to incorporate the tomatoes. And to finish this up, this is a totally optional ingredient here, but I'm adding in about 3 to 4 cups of baby spinach. Just wanna stir that to wilt. And you can also add cheese now, or you can top with cheese, or you could do both. You can add in some mozzarella. I'm just keeping it simple. I have some grated Parmesan here. This is freshly grated Parmesan cheese. That is about 1/3 of a cup. Use more or less. Omit the cheese to keep this dairy-free too. And then I'm just gonna pop the lid on this and let the spinach wilt. It'll only take a minute or so. Okay, our spinach has wilted in there. It just smells so good in here. Pasta is my love language, my daughter's too. We could eat pasta every single night, and there are a million different ways to prepare it. And one of the reasons I love this particular dish is that the noodles cook up the rich broth that we made and soak up the flavor, and so good. Top it with a little bit more fresh cheese here. Go in for a bite. The noodle is perfectly cooked, which I know you may have doubted because we cooked it in the Instant Pot, but my timing, you guys have to follow it. And the sauce, it's tomatoey, but yet it's a little bit bright from the white wine. And the spinach just adds a nice little freshness, totally optional. And tomatoes, it is so good. I love it. You guys are gonna love it. But if you're not in the mood for Italian pasta, be sure to catch my next recipe where I share with you how to make Instant Pot taco pasta. Until next time, happy cooking.